CSIS 2470 is filmed before a live studio audience.
Here we are, folks, as promised. Here's a video showing a use case for an object literal. This is a pretty common way to use something like this. And so let's just dive in. We're going to build it from scratch, but it's a really short program. All it is right now, you can see an image on your screen, and the bottom left corner is a little drone. We're just going to use the arrow keys to move the drone around the screen. That's it. Not too fancy. And right now there's no code, so when I hit the arrow keys, nothing will happen. So let's start with the basics here. Let's take a look at the HTML here. This is the same code I used for the object lecture that you probably just watched. And I've just swapped out the JavaScript file. So I kept this here, the JS object, and then the drone is the one we're going to be building right now. And then I commented out the dog div and put in the drone div. That is it. Let's go ahead and give this an ID of drone so we can target it in our JavaScript. And let's get going. All we're going to do is just add an event listener to the window. And so we may not even need that ID target on the div that I just put there, but I got it there just in case. So let's just start off simple, window.add event listener. And we're going to listen for key down. And we're going to do it. We're going to make an anonymous function here, an arrow function. And we're even going to do it the way that I hate to do it, right? We're going to put the code right in there with that syntax right there, just because it is what you'll see in the real world. And I want to expose you to it as much as I can handle exposing you to it, because I hate it. Anyway, we're going to be capturing the event. So when you hit any key, when you do key down, we're going to capture the event. I'm just going to use a variable called e to capture it. You can use whatever you want. And for the moment, we're going to console.log e. That's all that's going to happen. So let's go back and refresh the page here. And now when I type, I just hit a J or a D or something. I wasn't paying too much attention. I guess I hit the letter H there apparently. So you open this up and you can extend. This is the entire event that happened, and it tells you what key you hit, or the key code if you want to use that. Now if I hit the right arrow, for example, you can see the object generated, and you can also see that the key, if we scroll down here, is arrow right, right? All of them look like that. There's arrow up, arrow down, arrow left, arrow right. And let's just clear the console again. I'll hit the left, and you can see that the key is arrow left. So we're just going to use those. All right, so let's head over here to our code, and we can just do a switch statement, right? So we'll do a switch on the key, right? So if the key is arrow up, do one thing, and so forth. So case arrow up, we'll do something, put our break in there. And if we have arrow down or arrow left and arrow right, right? So what'll happen now with each of those keys, if I press any of those keys, then we're going to do something, right? Well, what are we going to do? We're going to move the little drone around. So I'm going to go ahead and put a break, or not a break, but make a line in between each of these, right? So we can put all the code above the breaks there. So what do I need to do to move the drone? All I need to do is just change its position. So let's take a look at the CSS for a minute here. And there's a couple of things we want to look at. The classes down here, NESW, northeast, southwest, are going to rotate the drone to be pointing that direction, right? Right now it happens to be pointing north, and we're going to rotate it when we change the class to point east, south, or west. So that's what this is about. And then here there's just a transition so that it is smooth. And then the other important thing to look at is that the image is position absolute, and the div that it is inside of is position relative, right? This is that div that we named drone. So it's position relative. So what this does when I have bottom 0, left 0, that's why the little image is at the bottom left corner. Well, all we're going to do is change this by 100 to move it up or down, and change this by 100 to move it left or right, okay? And we can do that directly with inline style, as we've done before. So obviously we're going to need to get our hands on that image, right? Well, the image is right here. There's only one image on the whole document, so we can just use query selector. So let's just do let drone equal documents dot query selector image. The end. Now we have access to it. What we're going to do here is just have a variable for left and then a variable for bottom and change it. So let's just start with that, right? So we can do let left equal 0 and let bottom equal 0. And then right here, in the case of up arrow, we just need to increment bottom by 100. So bottom plus equals 100, right? And in the case of the down arrow, it's going to be bottom minus equals 100, and then left and right. With the left arrow, remember, it starts at 0, right? So if I were to go to the left, I need to subtract 100. So it's going to be left minus equals 100. And then going to the right will be left plus equals 100. Now, obviously, doing this doesn't move anything, right? We have to apply that value to the actual image, right? So let's take a look here, and we'll say, say we're inside, is that the switch? Yeah, right there, outside of the switch. We're going to say image because that's what we called it, right? Or excuse me, we called it drone. So we're going to say drone, and then we're going to do dot style, dot left equals left, as in this variable here, left or bottom, right? And where we changed it, we may have changed bottom or left. We'll only change one with every key press. So we're just going to set it to whatever it is after the key press happened. And then of course we're going to concatenate on pixels. Do the exact same thing with bottom, bottom, bottom. Believe it or not, this is basically done. We have a couple minor things we're going to fix, and then I'm going to show you how to use the object literal to make this a little bit better. But if we take a look here and I refresh and I hit the up arrow, sure enough, it goes up. I hit the right arrow and it goes right, down, it goes down, left, it goes left, but it can break out, obviously. We don't want that. And that's an easy enough fix, right? So we don't want that to happen, right? I think I'm a little too far. There we go. But I also want it to rotate, right, when I hit the arrow. And remember, all we're doing here is we just have these random variables here called left and bottom. You can call them whatever you want, but it makes sense to call them left and bottom. And if we use the up arrow, we just change the bottom variable's value. Or if they hit left and we change the left variable's value, then when all is said and done, we just do inline style on the drone to position it to that place, right? And I just did 100. We could have changed it to a different number that's maybe 50, so it moves in smaller increments, right? And we'll look at a way to change that easily in just a minute. But for now, we also want to change the direction, right? So we're going to make a variable here called let dir equal north. That'll be the default. And then arrow up, dir equals north, right? That's easy enough. Arrow down, dir is going to equal south. Arrow left, dir will equal east. No, sorry, west. Sorry about that. And then direction equals east. Okay, that again, that doesn't do anything until I apply it to the drone. Well, that's easy enough. Drone.class name equals dir, as in direction. Now when we refresh and I push up, it's already going north, but if I do right, it rotates first and then goes. If I go down, it rotates down. I go left, it rotates left. And then you saw it spin around to go north again, okay? So again, we still have the problem that it can break out of its boundaries, but we're basically done with the operation of the game, and there's no object literal in sight. Why not, Jeff? Well, we're not done yet.
But I'm not done yet!
Okay, let's lock this drone into its world. Let's start with the two easiest ones, right? The left. If I hit arrow left and I'm at the edge of the screen on the left, then I don't want it to go any further. Well, how do we block that? Simple enough. We just look and say, okay, if left less than or equal to 0, right? It's at the edge of the screen. If that's the case, then set left equal to 0. And so it'll just stay there. So if I hit the arrow key left, I shouldn't be able to break out, right? So let's just test that. Refresh the page. And I'm hitting the left arrow key. It spins to the left, but it can't go anywhere. So that's good. And now the bottom is also the next easy one. So in the case of the bottom, we're just looking again. If bottom, the bottom variable, is less than or equal to 0, then we'll set bottom equal to 0. And then we break out on line 16 and we're good. So if we go refresh, I'm going to hit the down arrow, and as you can see, it did spin, but I keep hitting the down arrow and it does not go anywhere. Left spins left, down, it just sits there spinning and it can't go anywhere. Okay, good enough. The north boundary and the east boundary are a little bit trickier, okay? First of all, we have to know how big is its world, right? Because if I keep adding 100 from 0, 200, 300, 400, 500, well, what's the boundary? Well, we can consult our CSS because we hard-coded it here, and the height of it is 900, right? So it's 900 pixels. So if we hit the up arrow and we get this business, if bottom is greater than or equal to 900, then we say bottom equals 900, okay? But we're not quite there. Refresh, and I'm going to go up, and it went out by one whole block there, right? So what's happening? Why is it allowed to get out? Well, the drone itself has a height, and so the image is sitting at 900. The bottom of the image is sitting at 900. So we need to subtract out the height of the drone, which happens to be based on our CSS, 75 pixels if I'm not mistaken. So where's the image? Right there, 75 pixels. Its aspect ratio is 1, and we set the width to 75, which means it's a square. So it's 75. So now, sorry, I clicked the wrong thing there. We need to set the bottom equal to that. Okay, now we refresh, we go up, and now the world locks it in. Can't go left, can't go up, can't go down, but I can still get out on the right there. So let's come back here, and we're gonna have to do the same basic thing, and you might have noticed that the world is 1000 pixels wide, and so we're gonna do the same idea that we did on line 11 on line, 26 here, right? So if left is greater than or equal to 1000, then left equals 1000 minus 75. And that should keep us in our world here. So let's try to get out, and we cannot. It can't go down, can't go right, and if I'm here in the middle, I can't go up, can't go out. So now I'm stuck in the world, right? Okay, so that's the basic idea of this simple little program. You've already built something like this with your robot project like 17 years ago at the beginning of the semester. But where does the object come in? Well, notice all of these things here are all related to the drone, right? They're all the drone's pieces, right? This is the drone's actual location or physical image. This is the drone's left position. This is its bottom position. This is its direction it's facing, right? And there's some other things it could have. So what if we made an object called drone and we set it equal to all of these things, right? So we now have left is 0, bottom is 0, direction is north, and we can even do the image, right? The actual craft itself, if you will, is document.query selector image. So now, no semicolon there, sorry about that. So there is the new object, and now none of this stuff is needed anymore. Now our code's broken, right? Everywhere I refer to drone, drone's now this whole object, right? So down here when I'm saying drone.style, well, I really need to say drone.craft.style, right? Because drone.craft is that actual object. So that fixes that. And then all these other places where I'm doing bottom or left or direction, every one of these, we got to put in here. I'm just going to click them all and see if I can get them all. A drone dot right before it, okay? I think I got them. Here we go. In here. So far I didn't mess up. Nice. Drone dot. There, now we have drone dot. And that should be everything. I might have missed something, but let's just double check it. Refresh. No console errors, except when I hit an arrow, left is not defined on line 36. I must have missed one. Oh yeah, right here. So this left here, that's now coming from the drone object. So all of those, the left, bottom, and direction right there. All right, let's try that again. Refresh, and I hit the up arrow, and it lets me go up, but it blocks me in. I try to go out on the right, or down, or left, and now I'm in, but I'm now have this nice little object here that contains all things about the drone. Well, there are other things we might want to put in there. For example, how quick it moves. Maybe we could call that speed, right? So let's do one called speed. And right now we have it set to 100. Right here, this variable line 17 here and line 22 and so forth. Maybe we'll do it 50, right? And now we'll just change all of these to drone.speed. Now it will move 50 at a time. Don't know how that'll look, but let's just see. Yeah, it's a little slower, right? If we were to change this number now to 100 and refresh it, now the drone moves a little bit faster. Let's try something crazy like 400. It's going to cruise. One up arrow and it shoots up there, right? So it's cruising around. It's pretty fast. So that's why I think speed's a good name for that. But I like 100. We'll leave it there. So now we can delete these comments up here. And now we just have an object literal here. There's no need to instantiate or create a class or any of this business. We just have a simple little object that has all the details about our drone that we need. Maybe another thing we want to capture is the size of the image. So maybe we'll have a width of 75 and a height of 75, right? And so now in this case here where we're subtracting the 75, well, in this case we're subtracting the height. So we're subtracting drone.h, and down here we're subtracting drone.w, right? Now obviously this width and height we put there the value that's also in our CSS here, right? So changing it here doesn't change it here. So maybe we need something that initializes the drone maybe. So, and this is getting a little bit beyond the scope of using an object, but let's just take a look because this is a real world case where you might have to do something like this. So we may just start off the bat here by saying drone.style.width equals drone.w plus pixels, like so. And then we can do the same thing for height and put an H there. We can remove it from the CSS now, right here. I'll just comment those out. And right now, when we hit a key, it does set that to 0 or whatever the position is. But we want to set it right up front, right? So we can just do these 2 lines of code right here at the very beginning when we first load the page. So now we've removed from the CSS the position and the width. Let's make sure we didn't break it, but we did assign it here directly. It's going to be inline style, but it is all there. All right, so when we refresh, nice, we get an error. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, here on line 11 and 12, I said drone.style. I should have said drone.craft.style, right? Because the craft, drone.craft is the actual image, and we're setting that image's style.width equal to the width of drone.w, right? Sorry about that. And now we refresh, and we're back to where we began, and I can't go up. I mean, I can go up, but I couldn't go down. Can't go left, can't go right, and again, cannot go down. So now we're back to where we were, but if we want, now because this is only being taken care of in our JavaScript, we don't have to worry about the CSS. We can change the size of the drone right there. Refresh. And now the drone's a little bigger. Let's make it a little bit more noticeable here, like 200. And so when we refresh it, we have a much bigger drone now. And he still moves around. He's a little bit slower because he's so much bigger, but still seems to be working. Now there is a little bit of weird math that I'm not going to resolve for you in this video, but he now can get out a little bit. You see that? When we go back, let's refresh it and watch what happens when he first hits the boundary, the top. I'm going to hit one more, and then I go up, and then he comes back down. Right? And you can kind of see maybe what's happening mathematically there just by how much he can break out. But now if we go to the right, same thing, right? I hit the right and it sticks out, but I hit right again and it goes back in. That doesn't happen on the left and on the bottom because we're dealing with directly just 0. So I'll leave that as a fun challenge for you to figure out what the math would be that you'd have to do to make all that work. And if you don't care, then don't do it. But I think we're done here. I just want to do a quick little thing to show you a really simple use case that's also a valuable one for writing code that uses an object literal. That's it for this video, folks. Tune in next time for a real live official lecture. We'll see you then.